Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Welcome to another episode. I want to give everyone an update on my kidney transplant. It's been about a year and a half. And for those who haven't been following, my transplant was January 11th last year, 2025. We are in the first week now of June 2026. And my EGFR is the highest it has been. It is 44. That's the highest. And so I'm happy, but I like to keep my emotions in check so I'm not out celebrating. I'm sure you can tell I'm in a gym walking on a treadmill. Before I received my transplant, both of my kidneys had to be removed, and that rarely has to happen. So I had polycystic kidney disease. My kidneys were extremely large. So I had zero kidney function when I received my transplant. It was described as a sleepy kidney, and my kidney function, from what I think, was in the 20 percentile range. And so I think, because at the time, I did not know how to read lab reports. I did not learn how to read lab reports until almost the end of last year. And by learning how to do that, it gave me better insight into what's going on with me rather than just depending on input from the medical staff. And the staff, they are very hesitant to say anything negative. All they say is, oh, you're doing good. You're doing good. And that's because they just want you to feel positive and not down and depressed. And so I had this false belief that I was doing good. Although they did describe my kidney as sleepy, I didn't really read that much into it. And so 5.5 months, oh no, less than 5 months post-transplant, I started a job, and I only lasted barely over a month. And because I just did not have the energy, I didn't have the stamina, I could not keep up. And in fact, I got a job with the hospital. They were gracious enough to hire me. I worked as a delivery driver. I delivered pharmaceuticals to home and hospice care patients, but the pace that I was expected to work, the amount of hours that I was expected to work, I couldn't maintain it. And I had a kind of a bad result. I got injured, and pretty bad injury. And I tore my dominant side rotator cuff, had to get surgery, and I'm still rehabbing it. It might not ever be 100% at my age. I'm over 50. So I did pay a steep price for thinking I could go back to work so soon after my transplant. And I don't blame anyone. It was just my enthusiasm. I was so excited to have a kidney. I wanted to get back into the workforce. And there's a reason the government considers kidney transplants disabled for 12 months post kidney transplant. Perhaps looking back, hindsight is usually 2020. I probably should have taken more time to rest, but the doctor gave me permission to work. I'm not casting blame. And so I quickly applied for a job at the hospital. But it's okay. Things happen for a reason. But again, it was late last year when I began to learn how to read a lab report. So I've been going to the hospital bi-weekly, having my blood drawn, and waiting for the phone call the next day for my doctor to tell me what to do, how to react. And so upon getting my transplant, I was told to drink 2 liters of water a day, and which I've been doing. And and um, and then when I learned to read my lab report and or get familiar with how to read a lab report, I started seeing like, wow, I'm anemic, I'm this, I'm that, and I went back and read all the lab reports. I'm thinking, wow, had I known how low my kidney was functioning, I'd have probably stayed home. But, it's all in the past and it happens. And so, but yeah, my most recent lab report was 2 nights ago. I went and drew blood, had my blood drawn, and my kidney is functioning at 44%. That is the highest. That is the highest. 2 months ago, my kidney was functioning at 27%. 2 months ago. And it mostly had been hovering in the 30 percentile range, like 38, 32, 33, 34. And then I did top 40. I hit 40, then I went down. And so as of now, I'm 44. And so I don't let myself get too excited. I try to keep my emotions in check because in 2 more weeks, for all I know, it could be 36. And so can be described as volatile, my kidney. It's just not really consistent. But overall, it's a lot better than 0%. I'm not doing the analysis, and I'm still anemic, and my carbon dioxide is a little bit low, and that contributes to my low energy level. And if you notice on the treadmill, I'm just walking. I used to be able to jog for an hour straight, but now I'm just walking, and I do have this 30-pound weight vest to make it a little challenging. And so now this year, I was instructed to start drinking 3 liters of water a day, which I've been doing. That's about 4 of these, 5 of these a day. And so when I went from 2 to 3, my sodium dropped. And a lot of people are familiar with high sodium. Mine dropped. And to the point to where when my doctor called, she was a little concerned. And she asked, "How are you feeling now?" And I just gave the typical response, "Oh, just a little tired, a little nauseous." And she said, "Your sodium is low. We need to get it up." And so the easy way would be to probably go to McDonald's or something, get a hamburger. But I don't want to do that. What I did, I already have to drink a cup of water in the morning and the evening. I have to put 4 teaspoons of a powder. It's called sodium polystyrene sulfonate. That is to keep my potassium at a healthy level. Without it, my potassium will be elevated. That can lead to a heart attack. So what I started doing, in addition to the sodium polystyrene sulfonate, I was adding 2 teaspoons of table salt. And to break that salty taste, I would buy those yellow things of lemon juice. squeeze lemon juice into it, mix it up, and drink it. And did that for about a month. No effect on my sodium. Well, it did go up a little bit, and but it was still low. And I said, well, instead of 2 teaspoons of salt, I'm gonna put 3 teaspoons of salt into my cup of water, which is in the morning and the evening, along with the sodium polystyrene sulfonate powder mix and the lemon juice. And so also my magnesium plummeted. And I asked, how can I get my magnesium up? Because I never had issues with magnesium before. And so she said, well, she told me there's a kind of bread, it's like a multi-grain bread, and start eating pumpkin seeds. So I'm doing that. I bought salted pumpkin seeds. And so all of that got my sodium up to an optimal level, a healthy level. But my magnesium is still below. And I'm like, if it isn't one thing, it's another. And also during this time, my potassium elevated. And I'm like, what in the world? And she said, is there anything in your diet that you changed? Because my diet is highly controlled. No fast food, no sodas, but it's very controlled what I put in my body. I'm thinking, what? Then I said, okay, there's one change. I eat a salad every day, a nice, beautiful, healthy salad, large bowl, and I had started buying these little bags of shredded carrots and adding a significant amount into my salad. And we learned that although shredded carrots are considered low in potassium, there's a difference between raw and cooked carrots. Raw carrots, shredded carrots, are high in potassium. However, cooked carrots are low in potassium. I didn't know that. I learned it just recently. And I have a page of low potassium fruits and vegetables taped up on my refrigerator, and it has carrots listed. But it doesn't distinguish between cooked and raw carrots. So I simply quit buying the bags of raw shredded carrots. Quit adding them to my salad. And my potassium dropped to what it had normally been. But my magnesium is still low. So the pumpkin seeds and the multi-grain bread did not get my magnesium up. And it's so weird. I have never, in a year and a half, never had issues with low magnesium. I take magnesium supplements every morning, every night, because I still take my medications 8 a.m., 8 p.m. on the dot. I have my alarm on my phone set. So, I don't know. And there is one thing. When my potassium elevated, I did stop eating yogurt because I learned that yogurt that I was eating was high in potassium, but it was only whenever I started eating the raw carrots that my potassium elevated. So maybe I'll go back to eating the high protein yogurt. In fact, I'll probably go to the grocery store when I leave here and pick up some yogurt. And they come in these little like pudding cups. So I guess you can call them yogurt cups. And I'll eat one every night has 10 grams of protein. And so maybe that'll get my magnesium back up. And so the benefits of monitoring exactly what you eat, keeping it simple, it's just easy to keep track of. And so, but yeah, kind of excited, but like I said, keeping my emotions in check. Recent EGFR 44, the highest it's been, and I'm still anemic, and carbon dioxide is a little low, and red blood count a little bit low, but I still have side effects from medications I take, and I would say the worst are the gastrointestinal issues, and drinking all that water. It has to go somewhere, and then the headaches. I experience blurred vision from time to time, and I notice it when I'm reading, like small print. Sometimes I have to like really blink and look close to read real tiny magazine type print, and I've noticed that, and the side effects they change like every other month or every month, and like the nausea and in the morning, and then also feeling nauseous after I eat, and that'll last for about an hour, just the nausea. And so what helps is just to eat small amounts. Like I don't eat dinner in one sitting. I'll eat half, and then maybe an hour later I'll eat the other half. I've noticed that's helpful, and by not putting too much in my stomach at once. And so, but yeah, I feel I'm doing well, and the average lifespan of a deceased donated kidney is 10 to 12 years, and I feel optimistic. I'm about to turn 52, and I saw an article on X, and they created a kidney that functions without any immunosuppressants, creates urine, and so there was a nice picture of it on X. So I don't know how long it takes for anything that can pass a bench test to actually being out in the real world. I don't know how long. And I remember when I was doing dialysis, there was a scientist and / professor, works at a university in California. He has a YouTube channel. He hasn't posted in a while, but he claims to have created a bio-artificial kidney. And he's a real professor. And I actually sent him an email and he replied. And I actually got on his waiting list. And this was 2019. And his goal was to have this bio-artificial kidney inside of a human in 2020, but COVID delayed his plan. But here we are in 2026, halfway through. It's still not inside anyone. And I did read somewhere that he did have 2 meetings with the FDA. the Food and Drug Administration. And that's the last I've heard. And I don't know his name quite off the top of my head, but I think he works at the University of California at San Francisco, I think. And so, but I've pretty much marked him off. But he actually sent me a form to fill out, and I filled it out, and it's just my name and address and phone number. That's all it is. And so, but I've all but marked him off. Because he can't use COVID as an excuse anymore. And as far as delays, we're more than past the midway point of the century, of the decade rather. And so, I don't know, eventually there will be a breakthrough, and I do feel I will get maximum usage out of this kidney. And so my goal right now is just to eat well, maintain my body, keep it ready for the next kidney or whatever they put in me, and stay positive, and that's it. So that's about all I have for now. So again, my kidney is functioning at 44%. That's my EGFR. That's the highest it has been since my transplant, January 11th of last year. Anyways, over and out for now. Take care. Bye.